Dear friends, welcome to our channel. We thank each of you for the likes, views, and warm words. This gives us the strength and inspiration to create even more soulful stories for you. Be sure to write in the comments what city you are listening from. It gives us immense pleasure to read and see how many of us there are all over the world. Galina pushed the gate and stopped on the threshold of the house. The November twilight enveloped the village of Ivanovka in a grey mist. The snow crunched underfoot like old wooden planks. After 8 hours at the garment factory, her hands were trembling from working at the machine. Grigorie's dirty boots were thrown in the hallway. His jacket wasn't hung on the rack, but lying on the floor. From the kitchen came the smell of burnt porridge and the sound of the television. "Grigorie, I'm home!" shouted Galina, taking off her wet boots. "Well, finally," he replied irritably. "The porridge burnt, the milk boiled over. Why did it take so long?" "The bus was late. Why didn't you turn off the stove?" "What, do I have to take care of the kitchen? You are the housewife here, so do the housework." Galina entered the kitchen. The usual chaos. Milk had spilled onto the burner. The dishes from breakfast sat unwashed. An empty can of stew and breadcrumbs rained on the table. Grigorie sat in the armchair with his back to her, glued to the screen. His undershirt was stained, his socks were different colors. "The same thing again," Galina thought, picking up the burnt pot. "Every day the same. I worked 8 hours at the factory. My back hurts from bending over the machine. My eyes are watering from the fine work. And he sits at home and can't even take care of some porridge. Why are you silent?" Grigorie turned in the armchair. In the last year, he had gained weight visibly. His belly stretched his undershirt. His unshaven face expressed dissatisfaction. "You're walking around upset again, like you're at a funeral." "I'm not upset, I'm just tired." "Tired? Tired. And what about me? Am I resting? I work hard at the plant, repairing machinery, and at home I have to cook too." "I didn't ask you to cook, but you could have watched the porridge if you were boiling it anyway. Listen, don't nag me as soon as you walk in the door. I'm already in a bad mood." Galina began to clear the table. Her hands shook with fatigue. She had worked a whole day. Her boss, Vera Petrovna, had yelled at the department all day. They increased the quota, but they didn't raise the salary. "How has he changed in these 3 years?" Galina pondered, putting the dirty dishes in the sink. "I remember how he courted me, gave me flowers, said, 'Galyusha, together we will move mountains. I will make a fairy tale life for you.' He helped around the house, even made flower beds in the yard. And now it's a heroic deed just to wash a plate." "We're running out of firewood," said Galina. "We should chop some this weekend." "Firewood again?" Grigorie exploded. "You know my back hurts. My sciatica is killing me." "So we'll freeze all winter. We have nothing to make a fire with in the stove." "Hire someone. You have a pile of money anyway." "What money, Grigorie? You know my salary, 14,000. What, am I a millionaire?" "My mother called me yesterday. She says, 'Stop spending on a strange woman. It's time to think with your own head.'" Galina froze. Here it was, his mother again. After every discussion with Nadia Savovna, Grigorie became meaner and more fault-finding. He didn't used to listen to his mother. Galina thought with pain. When we first moved in together, he even argued with her, defending me. He used to say, "Mom, Galina is good. Don't interfere in our business." And now every phone call from her is like poison. Her voice seems to come out of his mouth. "Your mother turns you against me," said Galina quietly. "Mom is a smart woman. She has lived a life. She knows people. She's right. You've become completely spoiled. Do you think the man has to do everything for you?" "I don't think you have to do everything, but you could help sometimes." "Help? I hunch over for a few pennies at the plant. My hands are full of machine oil, and you sit here sewing buttons at the sewing machine. You have easy work." "Easy?" Galina turned to him. "You try standing bent over a machine for 8 hours. Your shoulders stiffen, your back burns, your eyes are red by evening." "Don't invent things. Look, neighbor Maria works at the collective farm and doesn't complain. Maria is 20 years younger, and I'm already 32. "Uh-huh. So you remembered your age. Getting old, huh? No wonder you walk around so sour. Men don't like that." Galina turned to the window. Beyond the glass, it was snowing. Warm lights were turning on in the neighboring houses. At Aunt Clava's, a silhouette could be seen. She was probably preparing dinner for Grandpa Mikhail, who had adored his wife all his life. Why do I endure this? Galina asked herself tormentingly. Her mother had warned her. Galatea, don't get involved with a mama's boy. They never let go of their mother's skirt. But she hadn't listened. She thought love would change everything. She thought he would become independent for her sake. Are you making dinner, or are you going to stand at the window all evening? Asked Grigorie impatiently. I'll make it. What else is left for me? That's right, because lately you've really let yourself go. Mum says, you have to keep a woman on a short leash, otherwise she'll climb on your head. Galina opened the fridge. Potatoes, onions, a piece of meat, enough for a roast. She began to peel the potatoes. The knife was dull, the peel came off with difficulty. The next day, Tuesday, began with new reproaches. The coffee is weak. It's like dishwater, Grigorie grumbled at breakfast, sipping from his mug. We have almost no coffee left. I'll buy some today. And where do you get the money? Or are you saving money at my expense again? I'm not saving. I have a little left from my salary. You never have money. Maybe change your job to a normal one where they pay humanely. In our village only the factory exists. Or commute to the city every day, and even more money would go on that. That's your problem. Mom says, a smart woman finds a solution herself. She doesn't nag her husband. Your mother. Galina could no longer restrain herself. Does she plan both our lives now? Don't you dare yell at Mom, Grigorie burst out. She wishes me well, unlike some. And what does she wish me? But who are you to her? A strange woman who attached herself to her son. These words hit Galina like a slap. Something tightened painfully in her chest. A strange woman. It means these 3 years meant nothing. All the dinners prepared, all the washing, the cleaning, all in vain. To him, I remained a stranger. Wednesday was particularly frosty. Galina returned from work and saw that the path from the gate to the house hadn't been cleared. The snow was piled up almost to her knees. Grigorie, the path needs to be cleared, she said, shaking the snow off her jacket. The postman won't be able to pass tomorrow. I'll clean it tomorrow or on the weekend. It's not running away. It will snow even more tomorrow. The weather forecasters announced snow. So what? It doesn't melt, does it? If it can wait, it means it's possible. But what will the neighbours think? Everyone clears their paths, and at our place, I couldn't care less what the neighbours think. Letters come on the internet, and old ladies have no business wandering through yards. Galina went to look for the shovel. She found it in the shed, under a pile of old things. The metal was like ice. The cold was felt even through gloves. Alone again, she thought bitterly, going out into the yard. I do everything alone again. Will I work like this until old age? Cook, clean, while he sits on the couch and gives orders? The snow was heavy, wet. The shovel went into the drifts with difficulty. Her back began to hurt immediately. Her hands tired quickly. But Galina worked stubbornly, as always. What are you doing, Galina? Working alone? Shouted the neighbour Enclava, looking over the fence. Where is Grigorie? At home. His back hurts, Galina lied. I understand. Enclava shook her grey head. Young man, and his back hurts. Strange business. Galina continued to work, feeling shame and resentment growing in her chest. What a disgrace, she tormented herself. All the neighbours see that I work alone in the yard, while he sits in the warmth watching TV. What do they think of me? Why are you taking so long? Asked Grigorie when she entered the house. Her hands burned from calluses. It was an hour's worth of shoveling, and that's it. There was a lot of snow, heavy. Yeah, sure. You always have excuses ready. Other women don't complain. Other women work together with their husbands. Don't give me instructions. I know what I have to do myself. On Thursday, the story repeated itself. Galina cleared the yard alone, cooked dinner alone, washed clothes alone in cold water. Maybe I really should leave, she thought, hanging Grigorie's wet shirts. Her brother, Nicolai, had called her several times. He told her, Galina, why do you torment yourself? Come, we'll help you get settled. But how to leave the house? The household? Her whole life is here. Why do you have that sour face again? Asked Grigorie in the evening, noticing she was deep in thought. It's not sour. It is sour, like a lemon. I saw a dame in the city today, cheerful, full of life. Look, men like those kinds, not sad housewives. Where did you see her? Oh, on the bus. Doesn't matter where, just saying. What are you saying? Oh, drop it. Don't pick at every word. Friday morning, Galina was gathering dirty clothes for washing as usual. In the pocket of Grigorie's jeans, she felt something rustling. She took out a paper, folded in four, unfolded it, and saw a note with round, feminine handwriting. Olesea, a phone number, and don't forget to call. Her heart dropped somewhere into her heels. Olesea rang in her head. Who is this? That cheerful one from the bus. Don't forget to call. It means they have already agreed to meet. Why are you stalling in there? Shouted Grigorie from the bathroom. I'm washing, answered Galina with a trembling voice, hiding the note in her robe pocket. Make sure you don't skimp on detergent. Last time you didn't wash well, stains remained. Galina stood in the middle of the room and felt everything collapsing inside. It means he has someone else. That's why he became so mean. That's why his mother stings her, so she leaves on her own, to free up the place. Her hands trembled as she loaded the laundry into the machine. Her heart beat heavily in her chest. How much longer will I endure? Galina thought. How much more can I humiliate myself? He's already meeting others, and I keep waiting for him to come to his senses and straighten up. Why did you freeze there like a post? Grigorie came out of the bathroom, drying himself with a towel. Wash, come on, don't daydream. I'm washing, repeated Galina barely audibly. But she understood that her patience was running out, like a string stretched to the maximum, ready to snap at the slightest touch. Friday ended as usual, with a silent dinner and Grigorie's reproaches about the borscht. Galina went to bed with a heavy heart. The note Olesea burned in her robe pocket. Saturday started early. Galina woke up from the sound of the front door. Grigorie had left for the store to get cigarettes. She sat on the bed, took out the cursed paper. What should I do with this? She tormented herself. Should I make a scene? And if he says she's just an acquaintance, or admits it immediately and leaves for her? She was afraid of both options, but she was even more afraid of living in uncertainty. At 6:30 in the evening, Galina returned from the village store with bread and milk. Even from the gate, she heard loud music from the house, something pop and upbeat. Grigorie didn't love such music. Strange, she thought. Someone is home. She pushed the door and froze. In the hallway, unknown women's boots with high heels were thrown. Pink, with fur, cheap but flashy. From the living room, voices and laughter could be heard. And he tells me, Doll, you're so cool. A woman's voice guffawed. I tell him he needs to look hard to find someone like me. Exactly, approved Grigorie. You are our little star. Galina slowly took off her boots and walked towards the living room. In the doorway, she stopped, thunderstruck. On her sofa sat an unknown woman of about 25 years old, dyed blonde, with teased hair, in a tight blouse with sparkles. Her face was puffy from drinking, her lips brightly painted. In her hand, she held a bottle of beer. Next to her sprawled Grigorie with a similar bottle. His eyes were cloudy, cheeks red. On the table were leftovers, empty bottles, unfinished salami, crumbs from chips. Her white tablecloth was all stained. Grigorie, said Galina quietly. Both turned towards her. The woman hiccuped and giggled. Oh, and who is this? Drawled the blonde. Your landlady? This is Galina, muttered Grigorie. Yea, we live together supposedly. We live together supposedly? Every word cut her heart. Ah, I understand. The blonde waved her hand with the bottle. Hi, Galina. I'm Olesea. We met Grigorie on the bus. He's such an interesting man. It means it is her, that Olesea from the note. What is happening here? Asked Galina, trying to keep her calm. What do you mean? What? Grigorie got up from the sofa, swayed. We are relaxing. Or do I have to ask for permission now? In my house? Yes, you have to ask. In your house? Grigorie sneered. But who has lived here for 3 years? Who did the renovations? What renovations? You haven't hammered a nail in 3 years. Don't yell at me, barked Grigorie. And generally, behave decently. We have guests. Olesea giggled and drank from the bottle. Come on, don't fight, she sang. Better to drink. Galina, sit with us. No, thank you. And it is time for you to finish. Oh! Olesea made big eyes. But she is strict. Grigorie, you didn't tell me there are such rules here. Did he tell her about me? Thought Galina with pain. Did he complain about the strict rules? Galina, don't embarrass yourself in front of people. said Grigorie threateningly. "Behave normally." "You are the one who is not behaving normally. You brought a drunk woman into the house. You both got drunk. And what of it? A person came to visit, I treated her. Or are we not allowed to receive guests anymore?" "It is allowed, but not these kinds and not in this state." Olesya pursed her lips, offended. "What am I? Bad?" she asked. "I am good, cheerful, not like some." Galina approached the stereo system and turned off the music. The room became quiet. Only Grigorie's heavy breathing could be heard. "Why did you turn it off?" Olesya was indignant. "We were having fun." "The fun is over," said Galina firmly. "You have to leave." "What?" exploded Grigorie. "What do you allow yourself? Who gave you the right to throw guests out?" "The right of the mistress of the house." "Mistress?" Grigorie approached her very closely. He reeked of alcohol. "Have you forgotten who the man is here? A man doesn't behave like the ultimate alcoholic. How dare you?" Grigorie raised his hand, but Galina didn't step back. "I dare. It is my house, and I demand that your guests leave." "Where do I get this courage?" Galina marveled at herself. She had never been able to answer him like that, but now something had changed. Probably the cup of patience had really filled up. Olesya got up from the sofa, swaying. "You know what, Grigorie?" she drawled. "She's right. I'd better leave. I don't want fights because of me." "You aren't going anywhere," barked Grigorie. "She will leave. I'm fed up with her whims." "What?" Galina couldn't believe her ears. "That's what I say. I'm fed up with you. Eternally dissatisfied, eternally asking for something. Mum was right. I got involved with an ungrateful woman." "Me? Ungrateful? For 3 years I feed you, wash, clean up after you. And who forced you? You wanted to yourself, so do it." "Grigorie, you shouldn't be like that," tried Olesya to intervene. "Man, you're like children. Shut up," barked Grigorie at her. "And you," he turned to Galina, "either behave normally or get out of here." "Fine," said Galina quietly. "Then get out, both of you." "What did you say?" "Get out of my house, both of you, immediately." Grigorie remained perplexed. It seems he didn't expect such a turn. "Have you gone completely crazy? It's my house. I mean ours too. But where are the documents? Who paid for the renovations? Who pays the utilities?" I pay everything too." "What exactly do you pay? Name at least one receipt." Grigorie fell silent. Indeed, in 3 years, he hadn't paid a single penny for the house. "Strange. How I didn't notice this before," thought Galina. "Or I didn't want to notice. I always excused him. Let it be. He has a small salary, difficulties at the plant, but he simply lived at my expense." "That's it. I'm not arguing with you any more," said Galina decisively. "You have 1 hour to disappear, otherwise I'm calling the district police officer." "You won't dare." "I dare, and don't doubt it." Olesya approached Grigorie and pulled his sleeve. "Grigorie, let's go. I don't want scandals. We can stay at my place too." "Oh, get lost." Grigorie pushed her. "It all started because of you." "Because of me?" Olesya was offended. "You invited me." "Not because of her," intervened Galina. "Because of you, because of your lack of respect for me." "What lack of respect? You live in warmth. You eat my food." "Your food?" Galina laughed bitterly. "That's enough. Pack your things and leave." "And where should I go?" "To your mother. She will receive you with open arms." Grigorie stood a little, swaying, then spat on the floor. "Fine, let's go, Olesya. Let her live here alone. She'll sing another tune." "Let her live alone. She'll sing another tune." These words resonated in her soul with a strange relief. Half an hour later, Grigorie packed his things in 2 bags. Olesya was waiting at the gate, smoking a cigarette. "I'll be back," he threatened from the threshold, "and then we'll talk differently." "You won't be back," answered Galina calmly. "You won't dare. We'll see." The door slammed. Galina approached the window and watched them move away down the snowy path. Grigorie was carrying the bags, and Olesya was clinging to his arm. When they disappeared around the bend, Galina sat on the sofa and for the first time in many months began to cry. "Is it really all over?" she thought through tears. 3 years of life. I tried so hard. I believed so much that he would change. But he had changed long ago, just not for the better. The tears were bitter, but there was also relief in them. It was as if a heavy stone had fallen from her soul. The house suddenly seemed immense and silent. Only the clock ticked on the wall and the wind whistled in the chimney. Galina got up and started to clean up the aftermath of their fun. She gathered the bottles, wiped the stains off the tablecloth, aired out the room. "Tomorrow, I start a new life," she decided. "Let's see which one of us will sing another tune." At 10 o'clock in the evening, the phone rang. Galina picked up the receiver. "Well, what? Are you satisfied?" hissed the familiar voice of Nadia Savovna maliciously into the phone. "You threw your husband out like a dog." "Good evening, Nadia Savovna," answered Galina calmly. "No good evening. Answer. Are you satisfied?" "Your son left on his own with another woman." "You lie." "Grigorie told me everything. You threw him out of the house." "He brought a drunken woman to our home. He had a drinking party in my house." "Look at how principled you are. But how are you better? A divorcee without children." "I am not divorced. Even worse. You weren't able to get married, and now you've lost a good man." "Good man," thought Galina bitterly. Interesting what a good man means in her concept. "Nadia Savovna, let's end the discussion." "No, we won't end it. You know what? You will live alone, and you will understand your mistake. You will crawl on your knees to ask for forgiveness." "I won't crawl." "You will crawl. Ones like you don't live long alone, and Grigorie will find a normal woman. I wish him success. You will see. You will regret it, but it will be too late." Galina hung up. Her hands were trembling, but not from fear, but from released anger. "I did everything right," she thought. "If I hadn't decided today, I would have lived with him like this until old age, and he would have become more and more brazen." Beyond the window, the winter wind howled, but the house no longer seemed cold. On the contrary, for the first time in a long time, it had become warm and quiet. Galina made herself some tea and sat by the window. Snow fell slowly on the windowsill, covering the world with a white blanket. "Tomorrow is Sunday," she made plans. "I will call Nikolai. I will tell him what happened. He will understand and support me. And then we will see what comes of this." For the first time in many years, the future didn't seem hopeless. Sunday, 9 in the morning. Grigorie stood on the threshold of his maternal home with 2 bags in his hands. Olesia had evaporated during the night. She said she had work the next day and left in a taxi. Nadia Savovna opened the door, dressed in a black kerchief and house robe. Her face stony, lips tight. "Well, son, did you play around?" she asked, letting him in. "Mom, she threw me out." Grigorie left the bags in the hall. "Imagine, she threw me out of my own house." "Out of your own house?" Nadia Savovna sneered. "But do you have a residence permit there? Did you put money in?" "No, I don't have a permit, but I lived there for 3 years." "You live like a moocher," said his mother sharply. "I warned you." They entered the kitchen. The house was small, dark, with low ceilings and old furniture. It smelled of borscht and mothballs. "Sit down. Tell me everything in order," ordered Nadia Savovna, pouring tea for her son. Grigorie sat at the table, held his head in his hands. "Mom, I met an acquaintance." "What acquaintance?" We met on the bus. Olesia is her name. A cheerful girl, not like Galina." "And then?" "Well, I invited her home. We drank a little, put on music. And this?" Grigorie stammered. "This what? Say it straight." "Galina came home and made a scene. She turned off the music, started throwing the guest out, and then threw me out too." Nadia Savovna listened silently, nodding rarely. "You're stupid, son," she thought. "For 3 years you sat on the woman's back, and now you wonder that she showed character." "And what do you plan to do now?" she asked. "I don't know, Mom. Maybe rent an apartment." "Rent with what? You have no money. You blew it all on that Olesia." "Not all. I have some left." "And work?" "Tomorrow is Monday. I'll go to work from here. By bus." Nadia Savovna poured herself tea, stirring the sugar for a long time. The old clocks ticked in the house. Outside, the neighbor's dog barked. A plan must be thought out, she meditated. He simply won't return to Galina. Pride won't let her, but he has nowhere to live. It means Galina must be forced to make the first step back. "Listen to me carefully, Grigorie," she said finally. "You can return to her, but not immediately." "What do you mean?" "Like this. Let her live alone for a week, she'll sing another tune, said Nadia Savovna confidently. She probably already regrets what she did. Yes, thought the mother. 1 week is enough. Galina got used to having a man in the house. Fear will seize her alone, especially in winter. You think? Asked Grigorie unsurely. Of course, women are all the same. First they show character, then they get scared, especially one like your Galina. And if she doesn't get scared? She will get scared, don't doubt it. Just that we must act correctly. Nadia Savovna got up, approached the window. In the yard, it was blizzard conditions. The wind bent the bare branches of the apple trees. Here is what you will do, she said without turning. For a week you don't show yourself. You don't call at all. You don't pass by the house. Let her miss you. And if she leaves for another? For which other? Nadia Savovna turned. She is 32 years old. In our village, all the lads are either married or drunks. She has nowhere to go. I'm thinking right, the mother convinced herself. Galina isn't among those who quickly find a new one. She's homely, a housewife. Without a man in the house, she is lost. And after a week what? After a week you go to her, but not like a beaten dog, but like a man. You explain to her how a wife should behave. How exactly? Nadia Savovna returned to the table, sat in front of her son. Listen carefully. You tell her, I am ready to forgive you, but on one condition. No guests without your permission, no whims and hysterics. She must cook, wash, clean, and keep her mouth shut. And if she refuses? She won't refuse. She will understand that she won't have another chance. Grigorie nodded, but in his soul he doubted. Yesterday's Galina had been somehow different, determined, tough, not at all similar to the submissive woman with whom he had lived for 3 years. Maybe Mum is right, he thought. Maybe her nerves simply gave out. She will stay alone. She will understand that she did a stupid thing. Mum, but if she really won't want to anymore? She will want to, said Nadia Savovna firmly. Women don't live long without men. Here isn't the city, where everyone is on their own. Here without a man you are nobody. Well, fine, but until then what do I do? Until then you stay here. You help me in the household. And most importantly, you don't tell anyone the truth. You say, I moved temporarily to Mom's. We are repairing the house. Why lie? Because if people find out the truth, then it will be hard to return. They will say the woman left you, that you are a weakling. And Galina will be ashamed, thought Nadia Savovna. If everyone knows she threw him out, she will be ashamed to reconcile. This way, no one knows anything. He can return. During this time, the phone was ringing in Galina's house. She woke up because of the ringing, looked at the clock, 10 in the morning. Hello, she answered sleepily. Galina, heard the cheerful voice of Aunt Klava. How are you, dear? Yesterday there was such noise at your place. I'm fine, Aunt Klava. But where is Grigorie? His car isn't in the yard. He went to his mother. How easily I lied, Galina marveled. Before she didn't know how to lie at all. For a long time. I don't know, maybe forever. What? Exclaimed Aunt Klava. Dear, what happened? We broke up. Oh God, but for what reason? Galina fell silent. She didn't want to tell about Olesia. Incompatibility of character. Oh, my girl, and how are you? Aren't you suffering? I am suffering, of course, but probably it is better this way. Strange, thought Galina. I say I suffer, but my soul is light, as if a stone was taken off my shoulders. If you want, come to me. We'll talk. Drink some tea. Thank you, Aunt Klava. Maybe I'll stop by this evening. Definitely stop by. Alone is hard. After the discussion, Galina got up, went to the window. The day was sunny, frosty. The snow sparkled on the trees. The air was clean and transparent. What beauty, she thought. And I didn't notice this before. I was always thinking about problems. She dressed and went out into the yard. Unusual silence. Only the snow crunched underfoot and the birds chirped. Galina took the shovel and started to clear the paths. The work went easily, with progress. No one hurried her, criticized her, told her she was doing something wrong. Galina! Shouted a familiar voice. She turned. Approaching the gate was the neighbor, Uncle Vasily, with an axe in his hand. Greetings, he said. I set out to chop wood, and your stack is empty. Let me chop for you. Thank you, Uncle Vasily. But how much will it cost? Well, what? Between neighbors, what money should there be? You helped me last year when the wife was in the hospital. You brought us food. Galina remembered. Indeed, when Aunt Zina had been sick, she had cooked for 2 families. Then thank you very much. But where is Grigorie? His car isn't seen? He went to his mother's. I understand. Well, it's nothing. The man in the house shouldn't only chop wood. Uncle Vasile brought the logs and started to chop. Galina watched as the chips flew in all directions, how the neat stack of wood grew. Look, see, she thought. Wood can be chopped without Grigorie too. Neighbors help, and he kept repeating, hire someone. In the evening she really went to Aunt Clava. They sat in the kitchen, drank tea with jam. Tell me, dear, what happened? Asked Aunt Clava gently. Galina told everything, about the note, about Olesea, about the scandal. Aunt Clava listened, nodding. Galikeia, you endured so much for nothing. I thought he would change. Men after 30 years don't change. Only for the worse if you please them. And what should I do now? Live your life without looking at what people say. But everyone will gossip. Let them gossip. You're right. You're young, still beautiful. You will find a good man. A good man, thought Galina. I wonder what a good man is like. Probably the one who doesn't make you feel guilty that you get tired at work. Galina spent Sunday at home, did a general cleaning, washed the curtains, even glued the wallpaper in a few places in the kitchen. She worked with pleasure. No one disturbed her, made observations. How good it is, she thought. You do what you want, when you want. You don't have to ask anyone for permission. In the evening, her brother Nikolai called. Galina, how are you? He asked. Fine, Nikolai. But how is Grigorie? Mom didn't call, she scolds him. Galina fell silent. Nikolai didn't love Grigorie. He always said he didn't suit his sister. Nikolai, Grigorie and I broke up. What? Seriously? Seriously? Thank God, slipped Nikolai. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It's nothing. I understand you. Galina, but how are you? Are you not upset? I am very upset. But you know, Nikolai, it is easier for me. That is good. It means you made the right decision. I just fear. Alone is kind of scary. Do you want to come to us? Marina will be happy. The children love you. No, Nikolai. Here's my home. I will get used to it. Well, you see, if anything, call. You need help, I'll come. Thank you, brother. After the discussion, Galina sat at the window with a mug of tea. Outside, the streetlights were burning. The snow continued to fall. Tomorrow is Monday, she thought. I start a new life. Let's see what comes of it. In her voice, for the first time in a long time, there was no submission, but determination. And in Nadia Savovna's house, Grigorie lay on the narrow bed in his childhood room and looked at the ceiling. Interesting, he thought. What is Galina doing now? Probably crying, and rightly so. She shouldn't have played the heroine. But why did he have no conviction in his own words? Monday, at 8 in the morning. Galina stood at the bus stop and felt different. For the first time in 3 years, she didn't have to rush home to make dinner for Grigorie. Galina, but where is your Grigorie? Asked a fellow traveller, Aunt Maria. His car hasn't been seen for 3 days. He went to his mother, answered Galina calmly. For a long time? Possibly. Interesting, thought Galina. Why is it so easy for me to talk about this now? Before I would have been saddened if people pried. At the factory, the workday passed quickly. Galina noticed she tired less. Her hands didn't tremble. Her back didn't hurt so much. Probably there is less stress at home, she meditated at the sewing machine. I don't have to think about what mood Grigorie will be in, what to cook, how to please him. After work, she didn't go home, but to the district centre. At the construction store, she bought paint, brushes, a small roll of wallpaper with a floral pattern. At the hardware store, 2 new locks for the front door. What? Did you start renovations? Asked the seller. I'm renewing the house, answered Galina with a smile. Correct. Spring is coming. It's just the time. On the bus, towards home, Galina made plans. First I change the locks, then I paint the kitchen, because it is already peeled. In the bedroom, I change the wallpaper, and most importantly, I buy myself something beautiful for my birthday. At home, she immediately set to work. She took down the old wallpaper in the bedroom, sanded the walls. She worked with ease and cheerfulness. Before, Grigorie always said, "Why spend on renovations? It is normal as is," she remembered. But I wanted beauty, comfort. Now I do as I want. Tuesday she continued the renovation. She pasted the new wallpaper, light-coloured, with small roses. The room immediately began to look different, brighter, more welcoming. Then she tackled the locks. The job turned out to be harder than she thought, but Galina tinkered stubbornly with screwdrivers and bolts. "Galina!" a voice was heard from over the fence. "What are you doing?" It was Aunt Clava. "Changing the locks," shouted Galina in reply. "Alone? It is hard." "Never mind, I manage." "I manage," Galina repeated to herself in her thoughts. "I surely manage. I'm not little any more." By evening, the first lock was mounted. Galina turned the new keys with pride. "Now no one will enter without permission," she thought with satisfaction. "This is my house, my rules." Galina ran her hand over the freshly painted wall of the kitchen. The yellow paint made the room sunny even on a cloudy day. At the window hung new curtains with small polka dots, all her choice, all her decision. Wednesday morning the phone rang. "Galina, it is me, Nikolai," she heard her brother's voice. "How are you?" "Fine, Nikolai, doing renovations." "Renovations? Alone?" "Alone. And what of it?" "Nothing. Just, do you want me to come help you with Marina and the children? We can see each other too." Galina was happy. She hadn't seen her brother and family for a long time. "Sure, come. I would be very happy." "Then we come tomorrow around lunch. Marina is making pies." "Excellent. I am making a borscht." After the discussion, her mood became even better. Galina tackled cleaning with new strength. "I must put the house in order by the arrival of the guests," she planned. "Nikolai will see that I manage, that I am fine alone." In the evening, Aunt Clava called. "Galyusha, I saw yesterday that a man was approaching you." At the gate, I saw out the window. "A man? Which one?" "Tall, in a dark jacket. He stood at the gate and left." Galina fell into thought. The description didn't match any acquaintance. "Maybe he was coming to Grigorie," crossed her mind. "But he isn't tall, and his jacket is grey. Maybe he got the wrong address," she said. "Maybe. You take care, dear. Alone is more dangerous. Don't be afraid, Aunt Clava. I put new locks. Bravo, you do well." Thursday began with pleasant agitation. Galina prepared from the morning for her brother's arrival, boiling the borscht, cleaning, setting the table. At 12 o'clock, Nikolai's car entered the yard. Galina ran to meet them. "Nikolai!" She threw herself at her brother. Nikolai hugged his sister, spun her around. "Galina, how good you look. You seem to have rejuvenated." "Seriously?" rejoiced Galina. "My word." Marina and the children approached. "You seem lighter. Before you were always sad." The children, Artyom, 10 years old, and Nastya, 8 years old, rushed to their aunt. "Aunt Galina!" shouted Nastya. "But where is Uncle Grigorie?" "He left, Sunshine," answered Galina, lifting the girl in her arms. "Left for good?" "For good." "And aren't you sad?" "No, I'm not sad." "I'm really not sad," Galina marveled. Before, just at the thought of separation, tears would come to her eyes. In the house, Nikolai immediately noticed the changes. "Oh-ho," he said, looking at the bedroom. "New wallpaper and smells of paint." "I'm doing renovations," answered Galina proudly. "Alone? Bravo. But don't you need help?" "I need it. I can't mount the second lock. It is hard." "We'll do it now." While Nikolai tinkered with the lock, the women set the table. Marina asked Galina about what happened. "You know," she said, "I always believed Grigorie didn't suit you." "Why?" "Too little independent, like a big child. And you need a man who supports you, defends you. Where to find those kinds? They can be found. You're beautiful, a housewife, kind. Anyone would be happy with you." Galina blushed. No one has paid me compliments for a long time, she thought. Grigorie only criticized. At the table there was merriment and noise. The children told about school, Nikolai about work. Galina made coffee and felt happy. Here it is family warmth, she thought. Not when you're criticized and humiliated, but when you're loved and supported. "Listen, Galina," said Nikolai. "I have an idea." "Which one?" "December 8th, your birthday. We celebrate properly." Well, what to celebrate? What do you mean what? 33 years, a serious date. We come with the whole family, invite guests. What guests? Neighbors. Aunt Clava with Grandpa Mikhail. We make a normal celebration. Marina supported the idea. Definitely. And we buy you a new outfit. It is time to spoil yourself. I don't know, hesitated Galina. You know, insisted Nikolai. After all that has been, you deserve a celebration. After the meal, Marina took Galina to the bedroom. Show me what you have in the closet, she said. Galina opened the old closet. A few dresses, blouses, jeans hung there. Is this all? Marina was surprised. But what else do I need? Galina, when did you last buy yourself something? Galina thought. I don't remember. I think 2 years ago. It is not right. A woman must take care of herself. Tomorrow, we go to the city. We get you a new dress. With what money? With yours. Don't save on yourself. Marina took a makeup kit out of her bag. And now, I will fix you up, she said. Why? Because you are a beautiful woman, but you look like a tormented housewife. Marina sat Galina in front of the mirror, began to do her hair. She arranged her hair in waves, applied lipstick, outlined her eyes a little. Look at yourself, she said. Galina looked in the mirror and exclaimed. An unknown woman looked back at her, fresh, bright, confident. Is this me? She couldn't believe it. You, my dear, the real you. When they went out into the living room, Nikolai whistled. Oh ho, he said. Sister, you're a beauty. Dad, is Aunt Galina a princess? Asked Nastya. Of course, she is a princess, laughed Nikolai. In the evening, when the family was preparing to leave, Marina hugged Galina. Remember, you deserve happiness, she whispered to her. Don't accept less. Thank you, answered Galina with a lump in her throat. And buy yourself the dress. Definitely buy it. I'll buy it, promised Galina. After the relatives left, the house seemed especially welcoming to Galina. She went from room to room, admiring the changes. How good it is, she thought. Cleanliness, order, beauty, and no one grumbles, doesn't criticize. In the evening, Aunt Clava called. Galyusha, I saw your brother was here. How are you doing? Wonderful. They helped me with the renovation. We talked. We will even celebrate my birthday. Correct. Life continues. Aunt Clava, are you and Grandpa coming on the 8th? Of course we come. What question is that? The next day, Friday, Galina really went to the city shopping. She chose dresses for a long time, tried on dozens of variants, stopped at a blue dress with small white flowers, simple but elegant. This dress suits you very well, said the saleswoman. It highlights your eye color. Seriously? Galina spun in front of the mirror. But isn't it too flashy? It is just right. You simply shine in it. Galina bought the dress, feeling like a real woman. She added some low-heeled shoes and a light scarf. I haven't bought myself anything like this simply for beauty for a long time, she thought, returning home. I kept thinking why spend, but why save, if I work and earn? At home, she put the new dress in the closet and admired it for a long time. Tomorrow is my birthday, she planned. Guests will come, we will celebrate, and further we will see. Outside it snowed, but the house was warm and bright. Inside it was warm, lamps flickered, a mug of tea steamed on the table, and in the corner stood a small Christmas tree. Galina had bought it on the way home. She put the kettle on, sat at the window with a book. It is good, she thought, so good as it hasn't been for a long time. She thought about tomorrow's birthday, the guests, the new dress. For the first time in a long time, the future seemed bright and full of possibilities. And at that moment she understood, she no longer wants to return to the life before. Whatever happens next, the time was 6 p.m, Friday, December 8th, Galina's birthday. In the morning, she woke up with a light heart and a smile on her lips. Outside the snow sparkled, the sun flooded the bedroom with strong light. 3 years, thought Galina, stretching in bed. A new year of life, and how different. It started with Grigorie, but ends without him. Strange, but she wasn't sad. Just the anticipation of the celebration. At 10 a.m, she began to get ready. She took out the new blue dress, the shoes from the closet. In front of the mirror, she did her hair as Marina had taught her, curls with a little volume. Is this me? She marveled at her reflection. A completely different woman, more confident, more beautiful. Then she tackled the festive table. Beef salad, herring under a fur coat, homemade pies. She worked with pleasure, without hurry, without nerves. At 12, Nikolai arrived with the family. The car was decorated with balloons. "Happy birthday, sister." Nikolai handed her a bouquet of roses. "How beautiful you look, Aunt Galina. You're a princess," enthused Nastya. "Almost a princess," laughed Galina. Marina brought a cake made by her, with 3 layers, with cream and cherries. "This is for you," she said, hugging Galina. "For a new life." Artyom gave her a handmade card with a drawn house and a sun. "This is your house," he explained. "And the sun is you, because you are kind." Children feel the truth, thought Galina, looking at the drawing. For them, I really am a son, and for Grigorie, I was just a servant. At 1 o'clock came Aunt Klava with Grandpa Mikhail. They brought homemade pickles and honey. "Happy birthday, dear." Aunt Klava kissed the birthday girl. "May this year bring you happiness." "She already has happiness," said Grandpa Mikhail, looking at the house. "Order, comfort, beauty, but especially freedom." "Grandpa says well," supported Nikolai. "Freedom is the basis of everything." They sat at the table. Galina felt like the queen of the celebration, all attention, all toasts for her. "I want to raise a glass," said Nikolai, standing up, "for my sister, because she found the strength in her to start a new life." "For Galina," everyone took up. "Thank you," said Galina emotionally. "Thank you that I have you. Here is what a real family means," she thought. "Not someone who demands and criticizes, but those who support and love." Aunt Kleva told news from the village. Grandpa Mikhail, stories from his youth. The children laughed and asked for extra pie. At 2:30, a knock was heard at the gate. Who could it be? Wondered Galina. Nikolai approached the window, looked. "A man is standing," he said. "Tall, in a dark jacket." Galina approached the window too. At the gate stood a stranger and watched something. "Maybe he got the wrong address," assumed Aunt Klava. The stranger stood another minute and left. Galina shrugged. Probably he really confused it. They continued to celebrate. Marina proposed playing pheasant. The children started a cheerful game. At 2:30, a knock was heard again. This time strong, persistent. "I'm going to open," said Nikolai. "No," stopped him Galina. "It is my house. I'm going." She approached the door, looked through the peephole. On the porch stood Grigorie. Her heart jumped, but not from joy, but from surprise. He came, thought Galina, exactly a week later, as he intended. "Who is it?" she asked, without opening the door. "Galina, it is me. Open up." "What do you need?" "To talk. Open the door." Grigorie tried to open the lock with the old key. It didn't work. He tried one more time. "Galina, the key doesn't fit. Why did you change the locks?" "Because." Grigorie banged his fist on the door. "Open up. I came home." "This is not your home." "How is it not mine? I lived here for 3 years." Behind Galina the guests gathered. Nikolai approached closer. "What is happening?" he asked quietly. "Grigorie came," answered Galina just as quietly. "Do you want me to talk to him?" "No, I handle it myself." Galina opened the door but remained on the threshold. Grigorie stood on the steps, confused and furious at the same time. "How he changed in a week," she thought. "His face is drawn, he aged, and his jacket is crumpled, he is unshaven." "Well, hello," said Grigorie with a crooked smile. "Did you miss me?" "Hello. No, I didn't miss you." "But why did you change the locks? Are you afraid of something?" "I'm not afraid. It is simply my house." Grigorie tried to look over her shoulder into the house. He saw the full table, the guests. "Oh, you made a celebration," he sneered, "and you didn't call me." "I didn't call you. Why? After all, we lived together. We lived... Past tense?" Grigorie fell silent, visibly not expecting such an answer. "He thought I would cry and beg him to return," understood Galina. "And I'm calm and sure." "Listen, Galina," began Grigorie in another tone. "Let's have no hard feelings. I am ready to forgive you." "Forgive me for what?" "Because you threw me out. You made a scene because of a guest." "Because of your mistress?" She isn't a mistress, just an acquaintance with whom you intended to meet. I still have the note." Grigorie blushed. "Fine, let's say. But I returned. To you, I returned." "And where is Olesia?" "What importance does it have? We broke up." "I understand. It didn't fit." "Galina, don't be mean. I made a mistake, I admit. But now everything will be different." "Really? And how exactly?" "It will be normal. I understood my mistakes." Galina shook her head. "No, Grigorie, nothing will be any more." "What does it mean, nothing will be?" "That's what it means. We broke up forever." "Have you gone completely crazy?" exploded Grigorie. "I returned to you. I'm ready to forget everything, and you say you aren't ready." "How dare you? Who are you without me? Nobody." "I without you am me, the real one." Grigorie tried to enter the house, but Galina blocked his passage. "Move. It is my house." "Still no. I don't let you." "But who gave you the right?" "The right of the mistress of the house." "And who am I?" "A stranger." "A stranger?" The words sounded so calm and firm that Grigorie remained perplexed. "Do I really not love him any more?" marveled Galina. "I look at him and feel nothing, neither love nor hate, just a strange man." "Galina, come on, don't be stupid," tried Grigorie to soften. "Mum was right. You will live alone, you will sing another tune." "Here I have started to sing." "That's enough." "Yes, I started to sing another tune, and I like this song." "What nonsense! What song?" "The Song of the Free Woman." Grigorie tried again to push into the house. At that moment, behind Galina appeared Nikolai. "What's the problem?" he asked, looking at Grigorie. "Ah, the brother appeared," said Grigorie maliciously. "You turn your sister against me." "I don't turn anyone. Galina decides everything herself." "What can she decide? A woman." "This woman threw you out of the house," observed Nikolai calmly. "Out of her house," corrected Grigorie. "But I have the right." "What right?" Nikolai stepped down onto the porch. "You don't have a residence permit here. You didn't put money in the house. What rights?" "I lived here for 3 years." "You lived like a moocher." "Not like a moocher, I worked." "You worked and spent on yourself, and my sister maintained the house." Grigorie understood it was useless to argue. He tried another way. "Galina, let's talk without witnesses, like adults." "No need," answered Galina. "We have nothing more to discuss." "How so?" "But the 3 years." 3 years I was a fool. I don't want to be any more." "You will regret it," burst out Grigorie. "I'll find a normal woman." "Find one. I wish you success." "And you will remain alone, an old maid." "Better alone than with you." These words finished Grigorie definitively. He stood a little, looking with hatred at Galina, then spat on the ground. "You will regret it," he muttered. "You will regret it yet." "Get out of here," said Nikolai firmly, "and don't come back." "Or else what?" "Otherwise there will be problems." Grigorie looked at Nikolai, tall, athletic, and understood there was no point in tangling. "Fine," he said. "Go to hell, all of you. I manage without you too." He turned and left towards the gate. At the gate he turned back. "We live, and we see," he shouted. "You will come on your knees." The gate slammed. Galina and Nikolai watched him go. "Done," said Nikolai. "He won't return." "How do you know?" "I know these types. Pride doesn't let them, especially after such a discussion." They returned to the house. The guests sat silent. "Well, what?" said Galina, smiling. "We continue the celebration." "Of course," supported Aunt Cleva. "A birthday is holy." "But who was it?" asked Nastya timidly. "Former Uncle Grigorie," answered Galina. "But he is no longer uncle." "And aren't you sad?" "No, sunshine. I'm not sad at all." And that was the truth. Galina felt an amazing relief. "As if I took a heavy backpack off my back," she thought. 3 years I carried this burden, and it turned out to be completely useless. In the evening, when the guests left, Galina remained alone. She cleared the table, washed the dishes, blew out the candles. The house was quiet and welcoming. On the table stood the flowers from Nikolai, on the dresser, gifts from the guests. Galina sat in the armchair with a mug of tea and looked out the window. Snow fell slowly on the windowsill, covering the world with a white blanket. "That is all," she thought. "The old life is over. The new one has begun, and I'm not afraid of this new life. On the contrary, I awaited with interest. Beyond the window shone the lights of neighbouring houses. In every window was her life, her joys and sorrows. And I will now have my life, meditated Galina. Not someone's half, but a whole life, a fulfilled woman who decides her fate herself. She drank the tea, put the mug on the table. Tomorrow will be a new day, new plans, new possibilities. She will live alone. She will sing another tune. She remembered Nadia Savovna's words. Yes, I will sing, but not the one you expect. Galina got up, turned off the light and went to the bedroom. Outside, it continued to snow, and in the house it was warm and quiet. The new song of her life was just beginning. Epilogue. May. Galina stood in her garden and admired the blooming apple trees. The white petals swirled in the warm air, like snow, but a good one, of spring. The house behind her shone with fresh paint. Blue shutters, white walls, new fence. In the yard, beds with tulips and daffodils gave off scent. "What beauty!" a voice was heard from behind the gate. Galina turned. At the gate stood Igor, the new chief mechanic from the factory. A tall, pleasant man of about 30 years. In his hand he had a bouquet of lilacs. "Hello, Igor," smiled Galina, approaching the gate. "Hi, I was thinking, maybe we go to the countryside. The weather is wonderful." "With pleasure. Just let me change." Igor had appeared in her life a month ago, transferred from the city with work. Renting a room at Aunt Clava's, he quickly became one of the locals in the village. How different he is, thought Galina, letting him into the house. Calm, attentive, and most importantly, he respects me. "Will you drink some tea?" she proposed. "Sure, and I brought you lilacs. Just pick them." "Thank you. I'll put them in a vase." Igor sat at the table, looked around. "It is comfortable at your place. A woman's hand is felt. I did everything alone this winter and spring." "Bravo! Not every woman would dare to do such a thing." Galina made tea and thought about how her life had changed. After the new year, she transferred to another position, team leader in tailoring. The salary increased, the work became more interesting. Plans, dreams appeared. And most importantly, fear disappeared, she meditated. The fear of not pleasing, of doing something wrong. Now I simply live and enjoy every day. "What were you thinking about?" asked Igor. "About life, about how everything changed." "For the better?" "Definitely for the better." They drank tea and talked about work, about summer plans. Igor proposed she go to the sea. "But what will they say in the village?" doubted Galina. "But what do we care about them? We are adults." Correct, she thought. Why should I look at what people say? Life is one. In an hour they were driving in Igor's car outside the village. The road wound through fields, where young wheat was already turning green. "Listen," said Igor. "I met your ex, Grigorie, yesterday." "Where?" "In the district centre, with a pregnant woman." Galina was surprised that the news didn't sadden her. Probably that Olesia, she thought. Or a new one, it doesn't matter. How did he look? Ordinary, just that he aged badly, and he drinks, it is visible. I understand. And aren't you upset? No. That is already a completely different story, not mine? Igor nodded understandingly. Correct. The past must remain in the past. They stopped on the river bank. The water flowed cheerfully among the stones. Birds sang in the trees. "It is good here," said Galina, sitting on the grass. "Very. Do you know what I like most about you?" "What?" "The fact that you know how to be happy. Simply like that, without special reasons." Galina thought about these words. Yes, I learned to be happy, she understood. Before happiness depended on Grigorie's mood, and now only on myself. "Igor, but aren't you afraid to get involved with a divorced woman?" "You aren't divorced." And then, what importance does it have? Important is how you are now. And how am I now? Beautiful, smart, independent. Such women are met rarely. Galina blushed with pleasure. No one has said such words to me for so long, she thought. Maybe even never. In the evening, Igor drove her home. At the gate he stopped. "Galina, I wanted to say that I'm good with you. Very good. Me too." "Then maybe we don't rush, but we don't waste time either." "What do you mean?" "That I want to know you better. If you aren't against it." "I'm not against it. smiled Galina. Igor kissed her on the cheek and left. Galina stood for a long time at the gate, inhaling the smell of blooming apple trees. Is this happiness? She thought. That happiness I read about in books, when your soul is light and you feel like singing. In the house, she made herself a tea, sat at the window. On the street, streetlights were turning on. Somewhere children were playing. In this half-year, many things changed. The house became beautiful and comfortable. Work brought satisfaction. New acquaintances, future plans appeared. And most importantly, I stopped complaining, realized Galina. I stopped believing that I deserve only crumbs of love and respect. On the table lay a card from Nikolai. Tomorrow is his son's, Artyom's, birthday. Galina bought her nephew a bicycle. How good that I have a family, she thought. A real family, which loves and supports. And somewhere in the city, Grigorie sat in a rented apartment and drank beer. Olesia had left for another. The new passion turned out to be with character. Mom scolded him always that he destroyed his life. Galina is to blame, he thought gloomily. If she hadn't thrown me out, everything would have been different. But Galina didn't know about this and didn't want to know. She drank her tea, turned off the light, and went to bed. Outside, leaves rustled. Somewhere far away, music played. Tomorrow is a new day, she thought, falling asleep, and it will definitely be good, because I want this and I deserve this. The spring wind gently swayed the curtains, bringing into the house the smell of lilac and apple blossoms. And in Galina's heart rang a new melody, the song of a free and happy woman.